Back to Basics is a workshop teaching traditional skills for modern resilience. Our mission is to make sure that everything that our grandparents knew is being taught to the new generations. Realistically, most of the traditional skills from the old world have been lost within the last 2 generations. So the whole point of this is to teach people how to do the old world things today. I started doing a lot of these old world skills in 2020 when I had my first son. It was the middle of COVID and the store shelves were bare and things were just a little scary. So we started gardening and preserving food. And then as he started getting older, I was concerned with some of the things that were being put into the food that we ate as children, cereals and mayonnaise and all kinds of things. And I just kind of went down that rabbit hole of what's in our food actually. And so I was doing all these things at home, and I know I'm not the only one that has these concerns. So we decided to open up and teach people all the new things that they should learn. A lot of these things are forgotten skills. I have a lot of folks who come in here that don't know how to cut an onion or, peel a potato even. So it's interesting to find out just how forgotten a lot of just basic skills are. The gas guy, when he came to turn our gas on, equated this to like an adult home ec, which is, yes, sort of. But also we're going further back and we're making sure that we know how to bake bread, and we do everything by hand because when you're baking bread, if you can feel it with your hands, you know that you're on the right track. You don't need to necessarily measure because you know what it's supposed to feel like. We sell all natural body products, herbal remedies, things like that. We also run workshops on them, and you can learn how to make your own remedies. We actually have some other vendors in. We have the Itsy Bitsy Veggie Company. They sell their microgreen kits here. We have Sticky Bees, that's a local honey company. We have fresh eggs. They're chicken eggs from right here in Eastlake. We have duck eggs from out in Chardon. And we actually have a few other new vendors coming in. So I'm very excited at the growth we're making this year. Folks show up here and they come as strangers and they leave as friends. I can't tell you how many times I'm closing up, I'm washing dishes, and I come back out and I see 3 or 4 cars still in the parking lot. They're just gabbing in the parking lot, exchanging phone numbers, making friends, and really that's one of the coolest parts. But also, you leave here with a skill and your finished product usually, and it's really neat to see how people connect. Once you start learning some of these things, you really want to get deeper into it. You want to learn more. As we're sitting and we're talking about what we're doing and why this and, these preservatives aren't good for you and why I stopped using some of the products that I used to use, you really start opening your eyes to seeing, first of all, how economical it is to do it yourself. Our systems are fragile. We all learned that in the middle of COVID when you walked into the store and the shelves were bare. Not to say that it couldn't happen again, but we want to make sure that we're being prepared. Additionally, these aren't things that our parents, they weren't interested in learning from their parents, and so they didn't teach us. I was lucky that my mom and my grandmother handed these skills down to me, but there are a lot of people who just generally don't have somebody teaching them this. And it is important because the chemicals that are in our food now, and when I make my kid a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I made I made the bread, I made the peanut butter, and I made the jelly, I know exactly what he's eating. And there's a freedom to that, and there's a pride to that, and it's really cool.